I'm Tim Malloy with the Palm Beach Civic Association. It's Friday, April the 18th. Thankfully, the numbers in Palm Beach have not grown. We have 16 people reportedly with the coronavirus. 2 of our friends and neighbors have succumbed to it. 2 people have died from Palm Beach. Remain in a shelter-in-place situation, stay-at-home situation. To be very specific, it means stay in your home, except to go to the pharmacy, maybe Publix, your veterinarian, or your doctor's office, and maybe some exercise outside. But that should be about it, and hopefully people are abiding by that. A lot of people are not abiding by the please wear the face mask request, which is now nationwide, and in this town it has been for quite a while. So what if there was no excuse for not having one? Well, that moment has come. Word spread quickly that the Palm Beach Police and Fire Foundation Emergency Fund was about to step up in a huge way, with John Scarpa and Tim Moran leading the way. The traffic on North County went more than a mile, backed up, people patiently waiting to get their 6 masks. An extraordinary outpouring of concern on the part of citizens, clearly, and an outpouring of support from the foundation, which has provided masks to people who otherwise have a lot of trouble getting them. This was in the works for some time, and anticipation, an important part of this. Police and Fire Foundation knew trouble was coming and organized to get these masks, 20,000 of them at first, and more to come. And set very specific ground rules, 3 different locations to pick them up, open your trunk, don't get out of your car, proper ID, and it's going off like clockwork. But an unbelievable stream of vehicles pulling up at the locations. And this tells you a lot about the concern in the community as well, understandable.
It's been chaotic. We had to open our gates early because of the number of people showing up, and it's been, other than a little bit of chaos, it's been going very well, but we're very proud of the Police and Fire Foundation to be able to do this.
Everybody's been working together. Like I said, once the chief and the town manager put those precautions in place, the community responded, and together we're working our way through this.
Everybody's talking about testing now. How do I find out if I have the virus? If I had it, what about an antibody test? Where do I go? Who's reliable? Dr. David Dodson is a well-known local epidemiologist and doctor to many in our town. And Wendy Rutledge has some information from him.
Tim, every day we hear about more available testing. We now have private testing at places like Quest and LabCorp. There is also the drive-through testing, and there are a number of different types of tests. There's the deep nasal swab, there is a blood test. Coming along the pike is also possibly a saliva test. So we were wondering, are they all equally reliable? How do we know? We posed this question to Dr. Dodson, infectious disease expert, and Council President Maggie Zeidman, who held an afternoon session inviting our questions.
When you talk about testing, there's 2 questions. The first question is, do I have the virus? The second question is, did I have the virus? So the nasal PCR test that you've been seeing everybody get the things stuck up their nose, that answers the question, is the virus there? And then we've seen a couple variations of that. We've seen the Abbott rapid response thing came out, and that's the same principle. You need some secretions, and then the machine analyzes it for the presence of the virus. Just more recently, the team at Rutgers came out with a saliva test, which, same thing, out of salivary secretions, they can isolate the virus and look for those in this test. The advantage of that is you don't have a healthcare worker putting a swab up somebody's nose. The person can do it themselves and then submit it. So it's a little safer test. But all of those tests are PCR tests for the presence of the virus. Then there's serology. So serology is once you get infected, your body develops antibodies to the virus. So the serology tests for antibodies that you've developed after you've been infected with the virus. If your question is, have I had the virus and do I have the antibody, then the serology, the blood test, is the test that you want. And all of these tests, you have to take them with a grain of salt because all the diagnostic tests were rushed through the FDA. FDA gave provisional approval. They did not do the usual thorough vetting FDA process to be absolutely sure that they're accurate. We're using these tests and we're making decisions on them, but we don't know for sure which is the absolute best test, which has the most false positives or false negatives. So we have to be careful when we interpret results from all these new tests.
We can't thank our first responders enough, and somehow, someday, hopefully, all of us will be able to do that in person in our own particular way. Publix is trying to make their very difficult job a little bit easier. On Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and on Fridays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., Publix, including the one in Palm Beach, will reserve shopping to first responders and hospital staff only. Just imagine the lives they're living right now. So, the doors to Publix markets, including Palm Beach, will be open to those who are doing so much for all of us. Quick break for some other news, and there is other news. Our town always growing and improving, and the Marina project is a big part of it. It is controversial, however, and in the recent telephonic meeting of the town council, it came up, and a lot of people wanted to say a few things about that. Wendy Rutledge has more on that.
Tim, the town of Palm Beach has made a formal announcement that it will go forward with its plans to begin the marina renovation project starting May 1st. Since the marina was first built in the 1940s, it's seen two other major updates, one in 1993 and the second in 1998. Since 2017, Town Council has been working with engineers and designers for a third renovation, along the way winning several grants, one for $3.1 million, to help defray the cost. Once completed in the fall of 2021, the marina will have 84 slips and be able to accommodate yachts up to 296 feet. In February of this year, full financing for the project was approved by the Town Council. Though the vote among council members was unanimous, there has been some vocal opposition to the construction, mostly from residents who live nearby and use the adjacent Lake Drive Park. Adding to some residents' concerns now are construction workers who may have been exposed to COVID-19.
This project is under your direct jurisdiction and should not be authorized to proceed at the expense of the residents' health and well-being. Many construction projects across the country are being postponed until the health of construction workers and the community around the work site can be ensured.
No decisions are going to be made about the park and the parking lots and the street until we re-engage with the public, which we plan to do so within the next few weeks.
The public will have a chance to ask questions and express their views at a virtual meeting at 3 p.m. on April 29th. Anyone wishing to participate should email townmarina@burkhartconstruction.com to be added to the call.
A lot of people simply don't want to navigate Publix or shopping anywhere. Either they're too elderly or they're just afraid, which is all understandable. There are a lot of outlets offering help in that regard, and Wendy Rutledge took a look at one of them.
Tim, as you know, there are a number of new services popping up now that will actually go and do your grocery shopping for you and then deliver those groceries right to your front doorstep. There's Instacart, Uber Eats. I chose to try Shipt, SHIPT.com. It was not only very good, but very easy. This morning at 8 o'clock, I went to Shipt.com and I placed an order for groceries. It was very easy. I chose Publix, but as you can see, you can go to Costco, CVS, Target. There are a number of options. I chose Publix. You just put an item in that you're looking for and enter. You get all your choices. You just add one to the cart and on it goes. In my email, I received this from Shipt saying I would get my order between 11 and 12 today, just a few hours after I placed it. And in fact, it came at 11:05. Thank you. And my final part of this is I'm going to give Jamal 5 stars. He went above and beyond. He was friendly. He was a good communicator. And I'm a happy customer.
Something uplifting that may raise your spirits a bit. We have our live cameras up and running now on top of the Biltmore. One faces west toward the Intracoastal, one faces east toward the breakers and the ocean. 180 view, which we can expand over time. Really worth looking at because it's up 24 hours a day, all the time, forever. So wherever you are in the world, you can get a look at our beautiful town. and it is beautiful even in the midst of crisis. That's all we have for you now. We wish you a good weekend. As always, we will update this posting if we get new information. Things have quieted down a good deal, and good news on the coronavirus rate in our town so far. So fingers crossed as we approach the peak of the virus in the state of Florida. So we leave you now with, again, some more beautiful scenes of our Atlantic Ocean.